there's a certain kind of woman you meet who confuses your idea of age completely. On paper, she might be in her late 30s, her 40s, 50s, even 60s. But when you're around her, age stops feeling like a number and starts feeling like an energy. She isn't trying to look 22 again. She isn't pretending life hasn't touched her. You can see that she's lived you can sense stories in her eyes. And yet there's something unmistakably youthful about her. Not childish, not naive, youthful. Her laugh feels alive. Her eyes still sparkle when she talks about what she loves. Her spirit feels curious, awake, open. Carl Jung would say that women like this have made one inner shift that most people never even realize is available. It's not a skincare secret. It's not a diet. It's not a workout plan. It's a deep psychological and spiritual move from one way of relating to herself into another. Before we dive into that shift, pause with me for a moment. If you quietly know that you don't just want to get older, you want to stay alive inside as you age. If something in you is tired of feeling dull, heavy, or emotionally exhausted, type the word alive in the comments. Just that one word. You don't have to justify your age, your habits, or your past. You're simply telling your own soul, I want to grow but I don't want to lose my light on the way. And if you keep stumbling on videos like this exactly when you need them, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel so these reminders stay. Close on days you forget what you're capable of. At the end of this video, there will be a playlist on the end screen. Save it. And when you're about to fall asleep tonight, let it play softly in the background. Your body will rest but your subconscious will keep listening, keep softening, keep rewiring the way you see yourself and your life. Now, what is this one inner shift that women who stay youthful usually master? It's simple to say, hard to live. They shift from living as an image to living as a being, from how do I look to everyone else to how deeply am I actually alive within my own life. They move from self-surveillance to self-relationship, from constant self-judgment to ongoing self-tending. That is the inner shift that keeps a woman youthful no matter what the calendar says, because the soul doesn't age the same way the body does. The soul ages according to how much you freeze or how much you keep flowing. Most women are taught to age by freezing. Freeze your face. Freeze your personality into something acceptable. Freeze your heart around old hurts. Freeze your dreams because it's too late now. But a woman who stays youthful learns to age by flowing. Emotions move. Stories evolve. Identities update. Desires are allowed to change. She's not clinging to who she used to be. She's in conversation with who she's becoming. Let's talk about how that actually looks in real life. Because this isn't theory for you. This is about your actual days, your actual heart. Most of us were raised in a world that started training us early to be an image. Smile nicely even when you're uncomfortable. Be polite. Be pretty. Be agreeable. Don't be too much. Don't age visibly. Don't feel visibly. Don't need visibly. So you learn to watch yourself from the outside. You're on a date, and instead of being in your own body, you're picturing how you must look sitting there. You're at a gathering, and instead of relaxing, you're scanning yourself. How's my hair, my skin, my posture, my outfit? You're taking photos, then zooming in on your flaws like your own cruel editor. Jung would say your energy is stuck in the persona, the social mask you present to be accepted. The problem is the more you live from that mask, the further you drift from your own center. And drifting from your own center is the fastest way to start feeling old on the inside. You can be 25 and already feel like life is over if you've been living as a performance for too long. On the other hand, you can be 50 or 60 and feel vibrantly alive if you've started returning your energy to something deeper than your image. The women who stay youthful, really youthful, not just cosmetically, have done and still doing this inner work. They gradually stop asking how do I appear and start asking how do I feel, what do I need, who am I under all these expectations. That is the inner shift from surveillance to relationship, from performing herself to being with herself. Once that shift starts, youthfulness is no longer about erasing time, it's about renewing connection. Let's make it practical. Think about moments you felt most old on the inside, not old chronologically, but old as in, I'm tired of everyone, I'm tired of myself, I'm just done. Those are usually moments where you've ignored your own needs for too long. You've kept saying yes when you meant no until your spirit went numb. You've been living on autopilot in a life that doesn't feel like yours anymore. You've been chewing on old resentments for so long that they've turned your heart into something hard and brittle. That inner stiffness shows up in the body, in the way your shoulders hunch, in the way your face holds tension even when you're not upset, in the way your eyes look dull even with makeup on. Now, contrast that with moments you felt surprisingly young inside, even if your birth certificate says otherwise. Times you tried something new, times you laughed until you couldn't breathe, times you were fully present with someone you trusted, times you created, wrote, painted, cooked, danced, sang, into, journaled without judging yourself, times you told the truth and felt your whole body exhale. Those are moments you lived from being, not from image. Into. You weren't watching yourself from the outside. You were inhabiting yourself from the inside. That's the inner shift. Women who stay youthful don't necessarily have easier lives. Into. They just keep coming back home to themselves again and again instead of abandoning themselves to the image every time something hurts. Let's pause here for a small check-in into, if as you're listening, you can feel how often you've been living as an image, constantly evaluating yourself, criticizing yourself, performing, okay, into, and some part of you wants out of that prison. Take a moment to like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. Not for me. Into, for the part of you that needs these reminders regularly to not fall back asleep. And remember, later tonight when into your mind starts replaying old fears while you're trying to fall asleep, the playlist on the end screen is there for you. Hit play, let it run softly as you drift off. Into, your body will rest, but your subconscious will keep absorbing a different way of relating to yourself. One that invites youthfulness back into your inner world. Now, into, let's go even deeper into what this inner shift looks like in daily life. A woman who stays youthful usually has made peace with one huge truth. She is not an object to be into evaluated. She is a life to be lived. Think about the difference. As an object, you're always too something. Too old, too young, too loud, too quiet, too soft, too strong, into too emotional, too detached. As a life, you're always in process. You're learning, you're unfolding, you're shifting, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes gracefully. Into objects must remain flawless to be valuable. Lives are allowed to change, break, heal, grow, start over, dart. When you secretly see yourself as an object, and into, almost every woman has been conditioned into this. You carry a constant anxiety. Your worth feels fragile. It can shatter with a bad photo, a cruel comment, a new wrinkle, into a weight fluctuation, someone choosing someone else. That anxiety is exhausting, and exhaustion ages you more quickly than any number on a cake. Into, a woman who has made this inner shift still cares for herself. She might enjoy style, skincare, fitness, beauty. Into, but she no longer treats her reflection as a report card on whether she deserves love or respect. Her question is less, do I look good enough to be loved? And more, into, am I living close enough to my own truth to feel alive? That difference shines through. Into, Jung would say she has withdrawn her projections from the outer world and begun reclaiming them inside. That means she stops putting all her magic on youth, on other women, on men, on society's gaze. She starts seeing that the glow she admires in others is directly tied to how honestly they live with themselves. So she listens more. When she feels bitter, into, instead of pretending she's fine, she asks, where am I abandoning myself? When she feels stuck, instead of calling herself lazy, she asks, into, what part of me has been ignored for too long? When she feels envious of another woman, instead of tearing her down, she asks, into, what desire in me is asking to be honored? This kind of self-honesty is youth for the soul, because nothing ages you faster inside than lying to yourself. Into, year after year of pretending you don't care, pretending you're over it, pretending you're unbothered, pretending you're okay with crumbs while your inner world silently screams. Into, women who stay youthful stop gaslighting themselves. They might still wear the mask sometimes, but they know it's a mask now. And because they know, into, they can choose when to put it down. Maybe they take it off in therapy or in a journal or in prayer or with a friend who sees them. Into, maybe they take it off sitting alone in their car admitting, I am not okay and I need to change something. Every time they do that, into, their soul exhales, and an exhaled soul looks different on a face. There's another piece to this inner shift. Into, women who stay youthful give their inner child a place in their adult life, not in a chaotic, irresponsible way, in a deeply intentional way. Into, the inner child is the part of you that still wants to play, explore, create, love, trust, taste life. Most of us somewhere along the way shoved her into a corner. Grow up. Be into serious. Don't be so sensitive, stop dreaming. So you got efficient, you got responsible, you got busy, you also got tired. Into, Jung would say that if the child in you is completely exiled, your life loses color. You might be productive, but you feel flat. You might be respected, but you feel numb. Into, women who stay youthful make an inner shift from my childlike side is embarrassing to my childlike side is sacred. They give her small, real places to live. Into, singing along to songs in the kitchen, buying fresh flowers just because they're beautiful, letting themselves be goofy with people they feel safe with. Into, trying new hobbies without needing to be good at them, walking slower and actually noticing the sky, the trees, the small details of the day. Into, they let joy be a legitimate use of their time, and that keeps something glowing in them, because youthful energy isn't about denial of pain. into. It's about not letting pain become your only identity. These women have cried sometimes more than anyone knows. They've lost, grieved, failed, been rejected into. But they refuse to let those moments be the only definition of their story. They let joy have a voice too. Even if it's quieter at first, even if it feels awkward to let themselves enjoy life after so much heaviness, that willingness to feel everything, not just sadness, not just responsibility but also wonder and gratitude is part of the inner shift that keeps them youthful. And there's one more piece, maybe the deepest of all. Women who stay youthful usually make peace with time itself. Instead of constantly thinking, I'm running out, they begin to practice. I am right on time for the life I'm actually meant to live not the fantasy life they imagined at 18, the real life that is unfolding as they wake up, heal, and choose differently. This doesn't mean they never feel regret. It doesn't mean they're thrilled about every change in their body. It means they stop treating every birthday as an accusation. They stop speaking to themselves like, you're late. You failed. It's over, because that voice drains color from the soul. They start speaking more like, I didn't know then what I know now. I lost time, yes, but I also gained wisdom. I can still build beautiful things from here. My future is not cancelled because I didn't have a perfect past. That mindset relaxes something deep in the nervous system. And a relaxed nervous system is one of the most youthful energies there is. We underestimate how much tension ages us. Clenched jaw, tight shoulders, always in fight or flight, waiting for the next disappointment, the next criticism, the next rejection. When a woman makes peace with time, makes some peace with herself, her body slowly stops bracing for impact all day long. Her face softens, her breath deepens, her reactions slow down. She starts to respond to life instead of always reacting to it. That calm doesn't mean nothing ever hurts. It means she trusts herself to navigate what comes without abandoning herself. And that trust that sense of inner companionship with herself is the secret glow. If you're still here, this is the part where I want to talk directly to you, to the you who looks in the mirror and sees more lines, more changes, and sometimes only what's wrong, to the you who feels older than your age because life has been heavy for a long time, to the you who misses the spark she used to have before heartbreak, before burnout, before years of being the strong one for everyone else. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling tired. There is nothing wrong with you for grieving the girl you used to be. There is nothing wrong with you for wishing you had started this healing work sooner. Jung would say, every real journey starts when it starts. Your soul is not rolling its eyes at you. Your soul is grateful you're even listening to messages like this. Now, the inner shift we've been talking about, the move from living as an image to living as a being, from self-surveillance to self-relationship, can begin quietly today. Not by forcing yourself to suddenly love everything about yourself, not by pretending you're over your insecurities, but by choosing in small ways to stop living against yourself. The next time you catch your reflection and the first thought is hateful, you pause and add one more thought. I'm learning to see you differently. Stay with me. The next time you feel joy bubbling up and your mind says act your age, you let yourself laugh anyway. The next time you're exhausted and your old programming says push through, you let yourself rest for 10 minutes instead of scrolling. The next time an old wound flares up and you want to shame yourself for still being affected, you sit with yourself as you would with a child. Of course, it still hurts. Of course, you're still sensitive. You are not broken for feeling this. These tiny choices are not glamorous. No one else will clap for them, but they are the exact choices that shift your life from image to being, and over time they write themselves into your face, your posture, your aura. If somebody's whispering, I want to stay alive inside as I age, I want to master this inner shift, even if it takes time. Type the word alive in the comments if you haven't already. Not because you already feel that way every day, but because you're choosing the direction you want to grow in. And if this message wrapped around your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap into the notification bell so you don't miss the next time your soul needs a reminder of who she's becoming. When you're about to sleep tonight, that's when the old narratives usually get loud. You're aging badly, you're behind, you've lost too much time, you're not enough anymore. Instead of letting those voices run your night, give your subconscious something else to drink. The playlist is at the end of this video. It will pop up on the end screen. Hit play on that playlist and let it run softly in the background as you drift off. Your body will rest, but your subconscious will keep listening, keep loosening its grip on the image you were forced to be. Keep inviting you into a deeper, softer, stronger relationship with the woman you actually are. Save the playlist and fall asleep with it into, and let these messages sink from your mind into your soul until one day you catch yourself mid-laugh or mid-conversation or mid-moment in the mirror and you realize it's not that you look like a teenager. It's that your spirit feels bright again. You are not frozen in time. You are not fighting time. You're walking with yourself through time. Curious, honest, kind, and that more than anything else is what keeps a woman truly, deeply youthful.